as a young person in this industry who has no flair and no idea.
Inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, beefed up security and a social media guru to shut her up.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope.
What does that mean?
That despite my flaws and despite my cracks and and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Rachel Zegler couldn't hold back her emotions, and now Gal Gadot has finally broken her silence. Rachel is at the center of the controversy. What really happened? Did she sabotage the film, or is she just an easy scapegoat for a much larger issue? Let's unravel the drama, the blame, and the chaos, because this failure just got personal. Rachel Zegler's worst fear has become reality. Many had predicted Snow White's downfall, but what Rachel likely didn't anticipate was Gal Gadot allegedly holding her responsible. Gal recently earned her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, an enormous milestone. But rumors of tension between the Snow White co-stars and Rachel's absence at the event only fueled speculation. Some believe Rachel avoided Gal on purpose, while others suspect Disney deliberately kept them apart, just as they reportedly did during press events. Whatever the reason, Rachel's no-show didn't go unnoticed. Fans are now convinced there's real tension between them. Then, on March 2nd, after the Oscars, a fan asked Rachel if she and Gal would present together. Her response? Calling Gal a professional pageant queen on Instagram. Not a great look. That comment rubbed many the wrong way, fueling rumors of their separation during the press tour. Instead of shutting down speculation, it only convinced fans further that something was off. The LA premiere on March 15th made things even more obvious. Rachel and Gal didn't pose for photos together, nor did they sit together. In fact, Rachel sat 2 rows ahead of Gal and her family. The tension was undeniable. By this point, insiders claimed Disney had already accepted defeat, realizing there was no salvaging the film from its overwhelming backlash. Reports suggest Disney had lost all hope of overcoming the controversy. Now, the empty theater seats speak for themselves. Audiences just aren't showing up, and Rachel's critics are taking notice. Social media is flooded with screenshots from ticketing apps, showing row after row of unsold seats. Some fans even posted photos of near-empty theaters during screenings. Not a good look for a film already drowning in controversy. Some critics have even joked about starting a GoFundMe to help Snow White recover its massive budget. Rachel initially made headlines when she was cast as Snow White, but not for the right reasons. While many celebrated a Latina actress playing the iconic Disney princess, the drama didn't end there. What fans didn't expect was the reported feud between Rachel and Gal Gadot. Now that the film has bombed at the box office, the blame game is in full swing. Jonah Hill's father allegedly flew across the country to confront Rachel about her statements. Jonah argued that she stirred up unnecessary controversy during the film's promotion, despite having a multi-million-dollar contract. When people defended her under the guise of free speech, Jonah shut them down, emphasizing that free speech doesn't mean you can say anything at work without facing consequences, especially when millions of dollars are at stake.
We can start out with the creative bankruptcy of remaking another anime classic instead of making something new. But yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off old Disney fans, pissing off new Disney fans, pissing off Trump supporters, pissing off all of America. And it became such a disaster that they had to shut her up, which was the smartest move they made. But the onus is all on her and Disney's reaction to it. And quite frankly, if he had said nothing, her move, probably still forgettable, would have done a lot better.
What Gal Gadot did next shocked even Disney insiders. But to understand how things got to this point, we need to go back. With Snow White already struggling, Rachel Zegler's off-screen controversies only made matters worse. It all started in August 2024, right after a major victory. The trailer had just hit 120 million views in 24 hours, a massive milestone. But then, Rachel tweeted, "Free Palestine." The backlash was swift. Disney executives were alarmed, and things became even more complicated when Gal Gadot, an Israeli actress, became a target of online hostility. Disney reportedly responded by increasing Gal's security. According to Variety, insiders claim Rachel didn't fully grasp the consequences of her actions. Tensions with the studio escalated. Producer Mark Platt even flew to New York to confront her in person, but Rachel refused to take down the post. She was accused of being overly political, and some blamed her for the threats directed at Gal. The situation spiraled out of control. Disney allegedly had to hire private security for Rachel as well. Then, Gal made a move that left everyone stunned.
Snow White, the curlingly terrible live-action remake, has bombed so hard at the box office that even Paul Tassi had to admit.
Considering Gal Gadot's history, serving 2 years as an instructor in the Israeli Defense Forces, Disney's decision to heighten her security wasn't taken lightly. As a mother of 4, the threats against her were genuine. But this was just a small piece of a much larger disaster. Snow White was intended to be a fresh take on a Disney classic. Instead, it turned into one of the studio's biggest controversies. And things only went downhill from there. Rachel's clashes with Disney intensified, especially after she continued to post politically charged opinions. She even took aim at Donald Trump and his supporters following the U.S. presidential election. Disney was left scrambling. As a last-ditch effort, they brought in a social media expert to manage her accounts. But it was too little, too late. Snow White flopped hard. It earned just $87 million at the box office against a staggering $270 million budget. A brutal financial loss for Disney, and another sign that their live-action remakes might not be the cash cows they once were. Earlier this month, Gadot addressed the rising hostility online in an interview with Variety, stating that it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to speak out due to overwhelming hate and bot-driven discourse. Rachel's controversy didn't stop at the Free Palestine post. She also reignited backlash with her comments about the original Snow White. Old clips resurfaced of Rachel calling the 1937 classic extremely dated, and even referring to the prince as a stalker. She criticized the film for being old-fashioned and pushed for a more modern retelling.
Version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What do you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut.
For hardcore Disney fans, this wasn't just criticism. It felt like outright disrespect. And with Snow White already under fire, these remarks only made things worse. While Rachel insisted she wanted to promote a stronger female lead, audiences saw it as her tearing down the very legacy she had been chosen to represent. Then came opening day. Rachel posted behind-the-scenes photos, but none with Gal Gadot. Not a single one. Instead, she focused on praising the crew and a few supporting cast members, completely leaving out her co-star, who played the evil queen. She shared heartfelt messages, calling the experience life-changing, and even claimed the film was the #1 movie in the world.
Zegler went to go see Snow. What do you notice about the theater? There's no one. Rachel Zegler is sitting in an empty movie theater watching her movie, giggling hysterically and maniacally. Rachel Zegler watched Snow White in an empty theater.